What's up, everybody? It's Three Wheel Khalil. Can-Am just announced their 2023 lineup, and I'm here to talk about it. Now, if you know, every year Can-Am usually drops their lineup around this time so people can start to get their pre-orders in for the new model year. You get to see the new features, colors, accessories, etc. So this is the 2023 variant of that. Right now, this is the official trailer kind of playing in the background, the official release trailer. So you can see the new Riker Rally model, the new, I'm not sure if that's the Sport or if that's just a Riker 900, but you can see they have some different wheel options available on these new models, as well as now it looks like we're showing the F3 family. So we've got the Spyder F3 Special Series in the side there, and then the F3T. That F3 Special Series looks really sweet, but I do believe that color was available for the 2022 model year as well. They've got this petrol metallic color on the F3T there. And on the F3 Limited, they have that mineral blue color. I'm not sure if those are interchangeable, but you have those different color options. And then I imagine we've got the Big Daddy, the Spyder RT coming up. And I think they've got some new color options there. This green shadow color. And some new wheel options, if I'm correct, or at least a new wheel color. Oh, that lighted floorboard is actually new as well. And the Prosecco Sea to Sky wheel. So that's pretty cool. So these are some pretty cool options, man. As you can see, this is the whole lineup. So far from what I was able to see in the video, it seems like it's a lot of aesthetic stuff. And now I wanted to maybe hop into the specs a little bit deeper and see if we see anything new worth mentioning here in the specs. Alright guys, so I'm going to try and keep this brief to only the changes from the previous model year to this year. So first we're going to start off with the Can-Am Ryker. As you can see initially, they have some new wheels, and it looks like these new wheels are available on the base model. And honestly, I actually really like these wheels. There's something that I actually would have loved to see on the original Rally. I feel like it fits that little bit of an off-roady style. So I'm digging those wheels, and I think that people will be digging that, especially on the base model. As you can see below, they're kind of showing a little bit more of the new accessories. So it talks about new panel kits, which we usually see every year, every season, that they refresh the panels, give us some new panels, take away some that aren't maybe doing as well as others, and get more accessories out in general. So it looks like they've got new heated grips, which is interesting for sure. I definitely really enjoyed having heated grips on the F3 Limited that I rode out in Nevada. It was the perfect weather for it. It was kind of cold at nights and stuff like that, and I definitely enjoyed having the heated grip. So it's a nice creature comfort to see make its way down the line to the Ryker. Then they call these the circuit wheels, so which makes sense. It's kind of like reminds me of like a Japanese kind of tuner wheel. Like I could see this on a, on a Miata or a Honda Civic that is been like spec'd out for like track days, super light wheels. I don't know if that's what we're actually seeing here. If there's, lighter components that make these wheels more than just visually appealing. But they look all right to me. It's not particularly my style, especially for the Ryker. But I do think it is a cool style that gives people some more options. And it's nice to see Can-Am really diving headfirst into the wheel options because, at this point in 2023, you have a good, kind of pool of wheels to choose from if you're going to mod your Ryker. Because if you look back at, the original two sets of wheels and then what they added in 2022 and now what they're adding in two different sets of wheels in 2023, you have a lot of different options. And so it's pretty cool to think that there will be a lot of Rykers that don't really look like each other out there on the road. Not my style, again, for these particular wheels, but it's cool to see so many options now on the market. From my understanding, that is, the lineup. So actually, if you look down here, we can see that now every set of wheels is now officially different than the original set that came on those 2019 Rykers and Riker Rally. So the Riker Rally got their wheel refresh last year, and we have those really rally inspired wheels, which I like. people don't like, but I do. Then you have the more sport-oriented wheels with the kind of like tiny spokes. I think those look pretty sleek. And then you've got the, you know, kind of, large block spoke designs, and which are actually kind of similar to the design that they put on the Spyder RT designs in terms of like the shape of it. So I think that's really cool to see that they've basically overhauled the wheels now that it comes to 2023. And then, as far as specs go, unfortunately, it seems like we see basically the same specs as we did from 2022. And, I'm going to kind of preempt that and say that, when I saw it, the first thing that came to mind was that, unfortunately, I think supply chain has kind of gotten the better of this upcoming release, in the sense that, they focused on bringing out new accessories, new wheels, stuff like that, rather than changing, core functionality, core components, and upgrading that. And to me, that, kind of speaks to the supply chain issues that we've been seeing as of late. And they'd rather kind of keep the focus on what they already have in line rather than trying to shift production to manufacture new parts that weren't already on the Riker. So it makes sense from a manufacturing perspective that you want to kind of keep that ball rolling rather than pivoting, because as you pivot, it takes time to ramp up. So I think it's a smart decision on Can-Am's part. I don't think it's going to win everybody over, and there's definitely, in my opinion, no reason if you had a 2022 to upgrade to a 2023. Whereas maybe if you had a 2019, you would see some value in upgrading to a 2023 because you're already seeing some of the upgrades from the last year still baked in here, to where you can add in cruise control, where you have more accessory compatibility with some of these new things. But a lot of these things are compatible across the whole lineup. So again, your mileage may vary on whether you think that a 2023 is worth upgrading to. All right, moving right along to the Spyder F3. Now, the F3 family of motorcycles is super cool because you have the bottom end that is closer to that raw feeling you might get from something like a Ryker, all the way up to the F3 Limited, which is more that luxury tourer like you would find in the Spyder RT. And all of that happens within that one line of the Spyder F3. So it's really cool. It's a really good platform. Now, again, there are not many differences in the Spyder F3 line, just like we were seeing with the Ryker, and maybe even less differences since the Ryker is so focused on customization. So with the Spyder F3, we see that we really get those new color options for the F3 and the F3 Limited and the F3T. So the F3T, which is in the middle there, I believe, yep. And then the F3 Limited, which is here in that like frozen color. I'm not sure if the colors are interchangeable across those two, but they kind of have it placed in order. If you see in that last shot there where you have, most affordable, which is the F3 Special Series with the kind of matte black with the kind of powder blue frame. And then you also have the really nice petrol metallic color on the F3T, and then on the Limited they have that set up with the mineral blue. So I don't know if you can get the mineral blue on a Limited, you can get the or if those are kind of specific to the models, but they are nice colors. But unfortunately, that's kind of the big selling point of the new model. So if you liked the F3 already and you were looking for one, you hadn't upgraded in a while, of course, the 2023 is going to be a great option for you. But it's not going to sway anybody who recently upgraded, at least in my opinion. Things I'd really like to see kind of start to come as standard on these F3 models is these headlights. For a motorcycle that's starting at 18 grand and up, you'd really like to see LED headlights. It's something that I really think that we should start to see on, motorcycles of this caliber. So F3, it's, this design has kind of been out in the wild for a good bit, and they've, iterated on a little bit, but we haven't seen that big redesign that you might expect to see after a certain amount of years. So I'm interested to see if we're going to see one soon, because the F3 kind of, I wouldn't say, piloted, but it is, at least in my opinion, kind of the core design philosophy that they have been going with lately. And it was the first in that new style that they've kind of, that more bold, that more aggressive style. Following that, we've seen the RT redesign, and then in between that, we saw the Riker. So, this is that new design language that Can-Am really loves, which is, more youthful, more bold, more aggressive, and I love it. So it's interesting to see how long we're going to see this F3 design, and if a F3 redesign is in the works. But, some of these little things as far as LED headlights and things of that nature, I do think we should, hopefully be seeing that in the near future. All of the F3 models, starting at the special series, all have the infotainment display. That's really cool. That's very nice. Again, something you want to see at a vehicle at this price point. And so here you can look at the individual specs of these different motorcycles. Like we said, they're all fairly standard. To me, the Sport F3S Special Series is really, that and the F3T are the sweet spot. Once you start to hit the limited, I think you really get pretty high up in the price range. Whereas these two kind of give you the most bang for your buck in terms of money. If you want that more touring style, you're going to get some of those, those features at the F3T. If you want more of that sport style, you're going to get that, plus a lot of the tech at the Special Series. So those are the two that I think make the most sense in that price range, unless you really just love the sportier look of the F3 Limited, but you want, that limited, like a RT kind of feel. But to be honest, I think the RTs look so good nowadays that I don't think it is as maybe justified as it was in years before to go for this over just going for an RT. But this does still have its own handling kind of characteristics, and does have a more sporty ride, in my opinion, than the RT. But as far as the looks go, the RT really holds its own in terms of that aggressive style nowadays. So, like I said, there's not huge differences. You're really just looking at the cosmetic stuff, which is the colors, and the colors are great. But, I'd like to see some of these new things come along in maybe the 2024 model year. So last, and it certainly doesn't cost the least, we've got the Spyder RT. Man, like I said in the last piece, the RT's redesign that it had a couple years ago is absolutely gorgeous. It's a great looking motorcycle. I'm a big fan personally. I think that it has done a lot to shed the quote unquote old man image that it may have had at one point in time. I think this is the tourer in its class, and that's 2-wheel, 3-wheel. I think, any person who really enjoys a touring motorcycle, I think that they would enjoy that Spyder RT, especially the looks, the comfort, the technology that it packs in. It's a special vehicle, and so we're not really seeing much, but I don't think we would expect to see much of an update in this model year, because again, we're kind of on the back of such a large refresh for this design. I mean, the redesign that happened recently is probably the largest redesign of the RT that has ever happened. Previously you'd see little iterations, little changes. This was a complete overhaul in the design of the RT, and I think that it is absolutely stunning. You're seeing those more upmarket features like the LED headlights, like, cool accessory lights, and some changes now. These that signature, they say foot, floorboard light. That thing is really cool, but just the overall presence of it, it is luxury, right? That self-leveling suspension, the ride quality, those big floorboards, heated seats in the back when you have certain models, heated seats, heated hand grips. Oh man, I actually just realized that that's the Smokes vlog on there. I didn't realize that was Sean Smokes and his wife. That's awesome, man. So happy to see Can-Am giving those guys a shout out, man. That's awesome. So, honestly, if you really want to hear about RTs and F3s and even the Riker, Sean Smoke's great resource, because not only does he ride them, but he actually knows how to build them himself. So that's a really, really cool channel if you've never checked it out. But again, this Spyder did not need to change a ton. It is off of a very modern framework. It's got some really modern pieces. So the things that you're going to see are the little cosmetic things like the colored wheels, the Prosecco wheels, the new paint color, which I believe, these two, which I actually think this green shadow is the new paint color. And then, the Sea to Sky has had some limited edition paint color run. So they're really cool. I think that this color combo with the Prosecco wheels does look really good, but at the same time, you're not seeing a huge change. It's really, if you were already in the market for a new RT, it kind of gives you something to say that, hey, this is a 2023 versus a 2022. And it kind of all goes back to supply chain. I don't think that they're going to, go very far out of their way to change, components that they use at the current moment in time, because that's going to impact how long it takes to get these to customers. And this is one of those years where they played a little safe, focused their resources in a different area, which was accessories and apparel and stuff like that, because it makes more sense to get as many people on to Can-Ams as possible rather than try to reinvent the wheel here, especially with the supply chain issues that we're seeing across the country. So I think that, the 2023 lineup is a pretty good lineup. It's pretty solid. It's, if you weren't excited before about the 2022 lineup, this lineup is not going to excite you most likely. However, if you were excited, you hadn't had a chance to pick up a 2022, but you're still in the market, I think the new colors, the new accessories are definitely a great, incentive to jump in and finally pick up a Can-Am. And then, this is even outside of the scope of this video. I'll probably make another video talking about these, but Can-Am's getting back into two wheels, and that's pretty exciting. And they're getting back into it in a really bold and new way with the electric motorcycle. So I'm excited to see what that means for Can-Am and their motorcycles. Also excited to see what that means for the Spyder and Ryker line and when that may be electrified. So we'll see. We'll talk about that in another video. You guys let me know in the comments if you are interested in hearing about that. But more importantly, I'm interested in hearing about what you guys think about this new 2023 lineup. Tell me in the comments below. Let's have a conversation. I want to hear from all of you guys. And always remember, life's more fun on three wheels. Peace.